1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
6 million ways to die. Choose
Crook
one.
Hello, my name is Woody. This is Change in the House of Pods, a podcast about Deftones. It's been a long time coming, and finally, I am proud to welcome the OG, DJ Crook, to the podcast. We recorded this conversation almost spontaneously late one evening in November of 2023. And as you can imagine, it was a pretty special treat for me, given my love for Team Sleep. Not to mention some of his contributions to Deftones, including the Teenager Beat and Lucky You, all of which we're going to talk about here. But we'll start with Crook One's own project, The Number of the Beats. Volume 2 is out this weekend. At the time of this conversation, Volume 1 had just been released. This is DJ Crook on Change in the House of Pods. Bro, great to see you.
Hey, good to see you too.
Man, I really appreciate you taking the time, making the time. You've been pretty fucking high on my wish list as far as this podcast is concerned. So, getting to pin you down for this is fucking smooth. It's smooth. What you drinking on tonight?
Just a little Four Roses.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's what you fuck with. So you just drink that straight or on the rocks?
Yeah, just a little sipper.
Just a little nip, just a little something.
Little
Yeah,
sips.
that's what's up. All right. Well, I know in our exchanges I told you it would be an hour, but I'm not going to promise that because it's Saturday night and it's going down. But if at any point you need to get up or do anything, I do want to be respectful of your time. You can tell me to pause. You can tell me we need to do this another time, whatever the thing is. This being as impromptu as it is.
Yeah, I was just watching old TV sitcom Christmas episodes like Benson and stuff like that.
That's fucking dope. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Well, before we venture into Deftones territory, I want to talk about the number of the beats because I have listened to your shit a number of times. Home is my jam.
Awesome.
It's really fun to sort of think about. This is your first solo release.
Yeah, man. It's like I decided it's been in my head for a while to do this concept. And I just but for a long time, DJ gigs and 9 to 5, just that's been my whole world. And I haven't really had time I never had time or kind of just wasn't into I was never, been getting creative with the music part,
Yeah.
So finally I just said, I don't know what happened, man. Something just kicked in and I just started working on stuff and then I just said, all right, I'm going to start this project and finish it. Well, it's not finished. It's volume 1, part of a 3-part series. So, but I finished volume 1, so I'm happy for that.
So the other 2 parts are not finished yet.
No, I'm kind of winging it. I'm like, I don't have like 18 prepared songs and I'm going to release, I'm just like, now I'm working on the volume 2, which I have about 5 songs that I think, all right, this is going on volume 2. So yeah, if anything happens to me, if I get hit by a bus or something, it's like
we're screwed. The rest of it, we're just gonna be left.
Yeah,
like in one. Yeah, whack. Don't do that. Stay safe.
Yeah.
don't go anywhere. It's really cool to, obviously having been a Team Sleep fan. By the way, when I talked to Todd, I meant to get this shit out. Look at this shit.
Yeah, that's one of the first shirts, I think.
This is some OG.
Yeah, that was my Photoshop hack job right there.
Yeah, you did this?
Yeah. I barely knew how to do Photoshop and stuff, but that's the first. I think that was one of the first.
Man, I beat the shit out of this shirt. I beat the shit out of the t-shirt. The rose was the jam. I know there was a yellow one too, and I was like, God, what do I do with the yellow? black.
Mhm. Yeah.
So obviously having listened to your music for a long time, but having like your like a solo introduction, it's pretty cool to get a taste of what you exclusively want to give us. And out the gate, like the first track, it's got this sort of like 70s like blaxploitation sort of vibe, like this urban feel. Like what is talk to me, can you talk to me about the project and about like what you're doing? And like I know you're winging it, but like obviously it seems like you've got an aesthetic in mind and like a presentation, some things that you're trying to communicate.
Yeah, it just all stems from my my inspirations just from like when I first started making beats and stuff, probably in the 90s, and mixed with just like my even earlier when I was, 12, 13 years old, getting into breakdancing and graffiti and stuff like that. But at the same time, um, I was still listening to like whatever rock music and stuff. And and at that time it was that whole satanic panic thing going on back in the early 80s too. And it was kind of almost all of it was going on at the same time. And I just kind of was um just thought I'd just do that that was my inspiration, kind of drawing from that era. So it's basically some hip hop, down tempo, I don't know, what have you, I guess, I don't know, I guess, yeah, I guess that genre wise, I guess that would be the thing, some electro, there's some electro stuff in there. All kind of just drawn from inspiration from just making beats. But usually I would have someone sing on something or an MC rapping on something. And I just wanted to challenge myself to make some instrumental stuff. And because I think it's harder because it's like you don't have vocals kind of carrying along the song, So I just, because I'm not a musician in the traditional sense where I can just hop on an instrument and play something. It's a lot of sample based stuff and some like very simple synth lines, because that's, I'm not gonna give you some crazy solo or whatever.
Word.
Yeah.
But still like the way that you like for home, for example,
Uh-huh.
like the way that you like use that sample, or is it two samples? Is the vocal sample the same as that piano? Is that the same from the same song?
There's yes, there's some talking stuff which is different than the song, the piano part, but
Right.
is that part where in the piano part where he says I should have stayed at home, that's part of that
Yeah.
part.
That's the same. Because the
Yeah.
way that you freak that shit, it's like, Jesus, every time that note taps, it's like
Uh-huh.
fucking pull at my heartstrings. You know what I mean? Like it's deep. Like
Cool,
that's
man.
a skill. That's not just like you know what I mean? Like you might not be a musician in the traditional sense, but that is not an like that. I couldn't just sit down and be like, hold on, let me, crack my knuckles and see what you know what I mean? Like, that's what's up. It's super cool. Like it made me feel something. It makes me feel something.
Yeah.
That's dope as hell.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah. And I mean, I've been doing beats a long time. It just wasn't very confident in whether I can do a whole instrumental series of beats and have it like hopefully people will be interested in it, like because there's, like I said, there's no vocals to carry on along the song. So, and that particular beat there is actually around 12 years old. It's been
No
sitting there.
way, for real?
Yeah, and then I kind of just tuned it up a little bit and added some talking stuff, and but it was kind of fitting with the stuff I was making, like the newer stuff that's on there. And I told myself, man, I think I could still use this. It's kind of goes with everything else, and it still sounds kind of fresh. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound like a 12-year-old. At least to me, it was like, yeah, this still goes. This can hang with the other songs, and I put it on there.
That's tight. That's super tight. So volumes 2 and 3 as well. We can expect some shit that's been you had to blow the dust off of to bring it out for the project, or do we know yet?
So let's see. Most of it's newer. Most of it's been like stuff
Word.
I'm messing with recently. and then there might be one or two that I'm gonna like probably change up a little bit, use the main part of it, you know. Some of those are kind of, yeah, a little bit older, but I think most of it is going to be some newer stuff.
So where do you honestly, the question that I really want to get to, I mean, apart just from inspiration and finding like the muse or whatever, the question that I'm really interested in is like, where do you find like what are your listening habits? Because like I see all of the records on the shelves behind you. I hear it in the any of the Twitch streams that you do, you know what I mean? Whether it's yacht rock or if you're freaking a new jack thing, or like you listen a lot. You listen to a lot. You listen to a variety of stuff. Like, can you talk to me about your listening habits and your consumption, like your music consumption? Like, how do you find it? What is your like methodology? Where do you go for music? And like, what is it about something maybe that like goes like, yo, that's for me?
Yeah. Ah, man. I just like, sometimes it can be just simple as like, I get on an email list of a record label, and then I get, if you find something on a label you like, and then like, oh, let's see, I want to hear more from this label or that label, or and then, Bandcamp, um, even Spotify, just like, you know, that could just be, it could be just something simple like, you listen to something, I was like, oh, if you like this, you like this, it could be that too. Like it could be, and then a lot of it's just, just all the music I've listened to over the years, that's why I like yacht rock or whatever, because I used to listen to a lot of those mainstream hits that were on the radio back in 1979, and I still like it, so that lended well to like just starting a gig and playing yacht rock or whatever. And then but also like in the early 80s, the breakdance music, and electro, and then it turned into more like hip hop stuff, golden era hip hop and all that. And just from lots of years of listening to music, because I'm like a boomer almost.
Not quite. But so you're just saying you basically reach out from your general interest, just of the things that you have, because it seems to me like I'm sort of a searcher. I'm sort of a like a person who's constantly mining for the next thing that I want to listen to. But I guess your behavior doesn't sound too much different than mine. Like I'll get something from anywhere, wherever the thing may be. But also, I don't know that I find, I don't know. It just never seems like there's enough time. And every time somebody like introduces me to something new, and it feels like you always do introduce me to something new, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where do they, man? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, so um like even like, so the Step in the Marina stuff, like what inspired that also was some, I just came across some newer bands that were doing stuff that sounded like it was old, like older. It sounded like, wow, this sounds legit from like 1978, and it's a new band, and like, now I'm trying to think how I, so Young Gun Silver Fox, for example, that's what inspired me to start doing that gig.
Young Gun, Silver Fox.
Yeah, and I came across him. I forgot how I came across him, but anyways, I was like, wow, this is like some new shit that sounds like '79 shit. And I go, there's got to be more of this out there. You know what I mean? So you
Word.
start looking, and you find more stuff, and you go from, you know, a lot of it's on that same label that they're on, and then but then you just look for other stuff, and that's how you kind of like how you kind of just discover stuff. I mean,
Word.
yeah.
But then presenting it to people and presenting it the way that you do. When did you start DJing? How did you get into DJing?
So what wanted me to DJ was, when I was going to high school in LA in the '80s, and there was there was radio station called KDAY, AM stereo. It was on the AM dial, and they would have these DJ shows, every day, around 5:30. They would call them traffic jams, and I would just be like infatuated, like, wow, look at they're mixing one song into another song, and then I saw some guy DJing at my high school. It was like some kind of event, and then I was just, it was just like fascinating to me. And a couple of years later, I moved to Whittier, and I met some friends there that were actually DJs, and I started just practicing in my room with two different turntables, and I would use like my, parents like some records, like a Madonna record, and I try to mix it with something, and that's, for what it, within about a year later, actually got good enough where I felt I was good enough to play out and started DJing at this skating rink in Whittier. And just from then on, it just turned into house parties and then making hip hop mixtapes. And eventually I was like, wow, like I could see how the sample works. I was like, oh, this is how they made that beat. They had, because I would buy records and I would sometimes accidentally I would be, oh, that's that sample from this song, and then you go, oh, that's how they use that, and then I go, I want to do that now. And I, went from DJing to making beats in the early 90s. It's kind of a progression.
For sure. Dude, that's crazy. In LA
Uh-huh.
in the early 90s, and you're like at basically the emergence and the height of West Coast gangster rap and
Mhm.
all of the like Dr. Dre and everything that was going on, and you're in high school, you must have seen some shit. You must have
Uh,
really been put on to some stuff.
yeah, I mean, yeah, so around 85 or 86, I moved out of Los Angeles, the city of LA, and moved to Whittier,
Okay.
30 miles east of LA, right?
Okay.
And then that's when I met some guys that were DJing already, and they were already good. I was like, wow, these guys are crazy, man. These guys are crazy good, man. They were like my age, maybe a year. One was even younger than me, and then a couple others were older than me. But then we go to like the swap meets and get like Dr. Dre mixtapes and stuff. You know, yeah, and we'd buy some records out there that had like the sample breaks and all that stuff. And yeah, that's what was like, we were, DJing and then trying to start making beats, and it was just this whole thing. And we would hang out with this guy Speed, DJ Speed, who was actually in NWA, and he was the DOC's DJ. And we'd go to his house sometimes and just, mess around with records and stuff, and then it just, yeah, it was a fun time. It was just lots of house parties and cruising and trying to make beats and stuff and meeting rappers, and like, you're like, wow, we got this rapper on the song now. It's like, it was just a whole thing. It was like it was all just new territory. Just keep discovering new stuff, and yeah.
I feel like there's even still some of that sound and influence in number of the beats, like which is the one that it's Electronic Patriots. It's like
Yeah,
definitely it's got that 80s vibe, that 80s hip hop vibe that, like, I don't know, it speaks to me, it connects with me, and it's like I feel like you definitely um in any of the streams or whatever the case may be, like there's something that you push that button, you've got that thing in you, and I'm like, yeah, that's that shit. It's cool that it's like it's because you fucking came up in that. That's what it was.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, one of the first records I bought in that genre was there was two of them. It was and I was like maybe 13, and I went this record store on like I think it was Melrose, and one was the Uncle Jam's Army record, another one was the Africa Bambaataa record, and it was Africa Bambaataa Renegades of Funk and Uncle Jam's Army. I think it's called Yes, 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 and I forget the B side right now, but yeah, and it was two. They were early electro songs, and so I've always liked that genre. And for that song, Electronic Patriots, I didn't even plan. I was just like in my room, and I was like, man, I want to make a beat, a 125 BPM simple electro beat, and I made it on my drum machine, and it's just a classic, kind of a classic electro pattern, right? And I just kept messing with it and messing with it, and I go, man, I'm gonna finish this thing, and I made and I turned it into a song, and I was like, that was one of the songs that actually got me telling myself, oh, this is it. I'm gonna start this project now and finish it, you know. So yeah,
Is that one 12 years old or is that one relatively
that
new?
was new. That was new. This
That was a new one? Yeah.
started, yeah, and it sounds 25 years or 30 years old, huh? But I made it. I started working on it last summer, like maybe yeah, maybe last summer, August or something like of 2022, maybe something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
That's tight. That's super tight. I love that that's the one that like sort of lit the fire and it was like, yeah,
That was the
I'm
one.
gonna do this.
And that's the most that's the palate cleanser of the. It doesn't sound like any other of those songs, but
No.
that's the one that started it off. The whole project, or volume one at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's super dope. And you took all those photos and then Frank Maddox got into the picture. You got Frank into the deal. It's got this presentation that's like very conducive and like on point. It's a whole vibe with the cassette. Just
Yeah.
fucking smack. I'm kicking myself for not asking you to sign it when we was out there at San Diego. Next year, I'm gonna bring my shit back, or I'm gonna bring all three. Well, we'll see. We'll see how. I'm no pressure. No pressure to get volumes 2 and 3 out.
Okay. Yeah. 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 So once I knew that I was serious, because I didn't want to just say, "Oh, I'm making this project" and start hitting people up. But
Yeah,
once I hit Frank Maddox, I'm well, this is it. I'm finishing this. I'm not gonna like just be flaky. I'm gonna finish this. I can't just hit up Frank Maddox and he's like down for it. He's like, man, I'm down. Let's do this, you know. And then yeah, I sent him some inspiration, like little inspiration email of images and stuff, and then he like, you know, took it to the next level, you know, like the way he does, you know. And so yeah, I'm super happy. I can't wait to see what he does for volume two, you know, like yeah, I want to just make the music to see what he does. So like, you know,
yeah, no shit, huh? Yeah,
yeah,
that's super cool. I mean, why not, right? Like whatever gets the sound out, whatever gets the inspiration going.
yeah,
But
no,
it does. It's super hard. Like it really does um create a whole thing, like the whole feel, like a whole vibe. Like it having a visual definitely adds to any project, which is why I should probably eventually put my shit on YouTube, but we'll see about that. I'm not too worried about that.
yeah, for sure, man. Oh yeah.
So I gotta ask you the question that I usually open with, and I'm definitely dying to ask you. Do you remember when you first heard about Deftones?
Yeah, actually, I believe it was when Frank told me about him because like he grew up down in the same area that I did, and we'd always go to house parties and stuff. And then he's like, man, I'm moving to Sacramento. I think this was '93, and I remember the day he came to my apartment and to say bye and stuff. And then he had, I think he borrowed some records from me, and he brought back the records. And then he's like, man, I'm out of here, man. I'm all right, man. Like, yeah, you know, I'll come visit or whatever. And he went out there, and then he eventually met Chino and them, and started making music with him. And he told me like, yeah, I'm messing with this band, Deftones or whatever. It's funny because I think I was like, this. I met with this band. My cousin introduced me to this band back in the early '90s called, I think it was called Groovestone or something. And I was like, and I took my turntables down to LA and practiced in their practice studio, and I was doing these scratches with this band. And I told Frank, yeah, I'm messing with this band called Groovestone. I only did it one. It was one time thing. And I remember him telling me about Deftones, and it was yeah. So basically, Frank told me about him, and then I eventually, you know, went to visit Frank. I think '95 was the first time I flew up there with a homie to go visit Frank, and then it might have been the first visit to Sacramento was probably, I think it was when I met Chino as well on that first visit, and that's when that album was about to drop. What's the first record?
Adrenaline, yeah.
Adrenaline. Yeah, Adrenaline was about to drop, and then Chino played me the whole thing, and we listened to it. He played me it. I think I want to say it was a cassette or something. I don't remember. And I was like listening to it, and I was like, wow, it's pretty dope, man. Nothing that I've heard before. And yeah, that was in like '95.
You were like, this is not Groovestone.
No, it's not Groovestone. No.
That's kind of fun, but it's interesting to think about, like, when he first reported like he's gonna go mess with this band Deftones, you equated it to like the experience that you had with Groovestone, which is that's kind of funny. Like, that's kind of funny because who knows, right? Like, that's at that point, who knew?
Yeah, we're just some DJs trying to just do something with a rock band or a band. It was like, okay, I can fuck with some scratches on this band that we're I'm
Do you remember? Is that what it was like? Is that what he was like? Like what? Because the circumstances around Frank's joining Deftones seem very unclear to me for a lot of reasons. When, why, how, it's all very sort of, I don't want to say shrouded in any sort of secrecy, but just in sort of like, I don't really, there is no linear like tale or timeline for me. And that could also be on me, but like, I'm curious, like what you remember, like as he went in, and like how they came along, and like, it sounds like he was like, yeah, I'm trying to go find a band to be in or something like that.
I don't think it was like moving to Sacramento to try to find a band, or like
No.
he moved out for other reasons to Sacramento, and then I think basically he was DJing with some hip hop group out here called Socialistics.
Right, yeah.
And, I think he might have met Chino in that way, probably at a show or something, hip hop show.
Okay.
And then probably I think from there, I think probably to talk about it, and then started practicing with him, and kind of just went that route. I'm pretty sure he said it and said something in some interview somewhere, right? I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure. But it's also sort of interesting to think about it from your perspective and your point of view. Like, because here eventually that became like, your musical family and more. I'm sure. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like, it's cool to sort of think about it from, like I said, from your point of view and from like your recollection, because obviously it's become a pretty big deal, to say the least, right?
Yeah. I mean, they ended up all being good friends, like Chino, Abe, and him, and and eventually, obviously, we started doing our own stuff on the side there, and it started with that. I think it was the "Be Quiet and Drive" remix. I think that was the first thing. One of the first things I did for like a label was that remix, the acoustic remix.
Which is kind of crazy, being that there are not very many Deftones acoustic things out there.
Yeah, and it was just they sent me a tape with it was just like a click track, and Jonah, I think Jonah was playing guitar, and then Chino was singing. And all I had was this cassette, and all I had was a little 4-track cassette recorder, and I just kind of tapped out the tempo and made a beat to it, and then pressed record on the thing on the 4-track, and just kind of try to time it with I just pressed start right when that click started, and I think it took me a couple tries, and then it just kind of lined up, and then it yeah, it was just very rudimentary. And then it worked out, and then I sent it back to them, and they used it, so it's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, let me go back for a minute. How did you know Frank? Tell me about how you and Frank met.
Basically, we had I was in Whittier, and I would hang out with some homies in Whittier, but we'd like go to house parties here and there in and around the area. And we ended up, there's a string of times where we ended up in Hacienda Heights, and uh, had some friends out there in that area. We go to house parties there, and then I started seeing Frank at the house parties through mutual friends. And I don't know, I was about 18 years old or something like that, 19. And eventually, just seeing him, and then turned out we just started hanging out just from mutual friends. And that's how we kind of met, just like from house parties and stuff. And we used to DJ house parties in his area, and he'd be at the house parties, or we'd be just wandering, somewhere at a party and run into him, and then eventually started hanging out.
Was he DJing too?
At the time, I think he was like he had some equipment. He was getting records. I think just messing around in his room and stuff at that time, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Did you put him on?
Did I put him on? Like,
Yeah, did you put him on to like the DJ game? Like
I think he was just doing that on his own.
word.
Yeah, he was doing that on his own. And then yeah, and then he moved to at that with the time, let's see. So that was probably, yeah, I didn't even know for a while that he was DJing until maybe a couple of years later. I think he was
No
just
way, really?
messing around in his room and stuff. I
Word.
don't did I from what I know, I don't think he was doing house parties or anything at that time. And then he started showing me this tape he was making, like, oh, okay. He's like making like a 4-track hip hop tape. And then he started like, coming around, and he'd play records at my house and stuff. And then like, oh, okay, he's DJing. Yeah, okay, yeah. And then like yeah, and then not soon after that, that's when he moved to Sacramento, and started, like I said, started DJing with the hip hop group, and playing out there, and well, out here in Sacramento.
What a trip. That's kind of crazy to think of that it was that fast. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
That's kind of cool.
yeah. So yeah, so probably around 89 ish, 88, 89, 90. That's when 91. That's when we were just all hanging out, going to parties or whatever, and we go get some grub, go eat or something, and just hang out. And then yeah, then that's when he moved, pretty much a couple years after that.
Word. So when did you go up to SAC? When did that happen?
So Frank would always be like, "Yo, move to SAC, come to SAC," and I was like, I really kind of wasn't interested. I was just like, I'm just here living in Whittier, doing my thing, have my my job and my apartment and all that. But let's see, when I started thinking, okay, maybe I can move out to SAC. I had my daughter in '99, and that's when things started happening too. Like at the same time that I did that remix, and then I did then comes a White Pony, and then I did Teenager, and I was thinking, man, maybe this thing could, maybe I could do something up there, like on my own or something, or with Gino or something. I don't know. And I was like, okay, yeah, let's maybe a change would be good. I'll move out there. And so 2001 is when it actually came up here, and been here ever since. Yeah. So
Wow. So you really didn't even move to SAC until 2001.
yeah.
So you were a bit of a transplant. Dude, you got to tell me, how did the teenager thing happen? How did teenager happen? Tell me about teenager. And this is probably fast forwarding a little bit further than I wanted to, but fuck
That's all right.
it.
We can go back and forth, and
We'll jump around. Yeah.
doesn't
How's
have
the
to be
pain this motherfucker? We have to.
chronological and shit. But I think actually I think it was at a show once, and I asked Chino, hey man, hey, maybe we can even if it's just for fun, make we just practice, like work on something, like I can make some beats and you can like do some stuff on it. And he's like, yeah, for sure, And then um that was probably actually, see, now I'm jumping back and forth. Or that was, then after that the remix happened. But then the Be Quiet and Drive remix. But a couple years later, right? I made this beat, and I think Chino had already uh told me, or it came up, he said like, hey, I want to do this band with you, me, and Todd or something like that. And then I don't even think there was a name for it yet. I don't remember, actually, honestly. I don't remember, but I was thinking, okay, and and I started making this beat, and I go, oh, this could be for that project, and I was thinking it was kind of like just like this simple beat with some like this guitar on it, and I was like, man. So I showed Gino, like, what do you think of this one? He's like, yeah, he really liked it, and then I was like, okay, this could be, I was thinking, yeah, this could be for that project. This could be one of the jams, and then I think not too long after that, he's all, hey, I kind of want to use this for Deftones record. And I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's even better. Yeah, go for it.
Word.
And so yeah, he did. He used it for, what became Teenager for what on the White Pony record. And I remember I remember I was working at my day job in Whittier, and out of nowhere, um, I knew they've been working on the album in LA, I think in Santa Monica or something. And out of nowhere, like Abe and Frank come into my car dealership, and they're all, "Hey, we want to show you something." And they take me out in the car, and they play Teenager, and with like pretty much the finished version had Frank's little scratch stuff, the echoey delayed stuff, and then I think there's some keyboard on there, and Chino's vocals, and I was like tripping out, because no one's ever sung on. I'm used to like MCs like rapping on my stuff. No one's ever, I've never had anyone sing on it and any of my stuff. And I was tripping out in the car, like, wow, this is crazy. But yeah, that's how Teenager came about. It was just made this kind of lo-fi beat in my room. And I figured he would like it, and he did. And that's what happened.
That's fucking cold as shit. What kind of car did you guys listen to when they pulled you out? What kind of car were you listening to it?
What kind of car?
Yeah, do you remember?
Man, I do not remember. I think it was like a rented car they had rented because they're
They were
basically
in town for
they're living down there working on this record,
work.
and like a rental car or something.
Because that's
Yeah.
if it passes the car test, that's like the big
Oh yeah, I definitely passed. It was like, wow, yeah, I was tripping balls, man. I couldn't believe it.
bet.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's cool as shit, dude. Like,
Mhm.
wow.
Yeah,
Like,
dude,
wow, wow.
it was
And then
almost cried.
I mean, I wouldn't have held it against you. Like, come on, I would have cried as well. Like this, I would have been all up in my feeling. Like, bro. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, and it's such a you already know. It's such a moment on the album. It's all of the things, all of the things. It's such a
Yeah.
it's really
That whole
wow.
album, yeah, it was a vibe.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's cool as fuck. All
Mhm.
right. Um, so the conversation to do something preceded Be Quiet and Drive, the Be Quiet and Drive remix.
Yeah.
Okay. But was that the conversation? Was that conversation? That was the me, you, and Todd thing?
No, I was just asking, like just to like, no, it was just like it was just like something. I was just asking for like him and me, like, hey,
Word.
and if you ever want to mess around with like,
Yeah.
I can make some beats and you can do some stuff on it, let me know, it's just like,
Were you thinking that he would rap on it?
No, I was thinking like singing, like I could just picture me doing some beats and then having him sing on it, you know.
Word.
And that's what I was picturing in my head when I was talking, asking him about it, talking to him about it.
Because it does raise the question and beg the question. It's been a topic of conversation lately. Can Chino still rap? And I
Uh,
feel like you're really you got the market cornered on expertise in this particular conversation.
oh man, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
Fuck
Yeah.
out of here. That's really funny that you because out the gate I would have been like, yeah, like if he would have come out and sung on the shit, I would have been like, bro, I thought you were gonna drop some bars. Yeah, because especially because coming from where you come from, it's like I've only had people rapping on my shit. It would have been sort of surprising that somebody's singing on it.
But
Not
yeah, I was
necessarily, but
thinking
who
like,
knows?
yeah, but I was thinking in my mind, like in my head, Portishead, stuff like that. And back in my head,
Word.
oh man, we can do something like that where I'm making beats and he's singing on it.
Yeah. Fuck. That's really cool. That's a really cool thing that was where your head was at. Portishead is really cool. So when did the you and him and Todd conversation? What do you remember of like the earliest seedling of Team Sleep?
That's probably, I want to say late 90s, early 2000s, maybe that I think Chino came up with the name Team Sleep. And then I was like, okay, all right, Team Sleep. And then that was because, yeah, I think it was in late 90s, early 2000, like 99, 2000 or something like that. I could be wrong, but it's around that time. And, Todd would always, every time I go visit Frank, Todd would be in the apartment playing guitar and recording on
Word.
his track.
Because they stayed together for a minute, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he gave me one, I think he gave me a cassette with a bunch of like guitar stuff on it. And then this is after like, okay, this, let's do this project thing. And so I like, you know, listen through to the listen through the tape and like find something I want to sample. And then I would like sample it and try to make it like a beat to it. And that's how things got going.
That's so fucking cool. I like
Yeah.
I don't know if you are aware of the significance, at least um I feel like for people like me and um fans especially who are like really in love with the stuff that didn't get released on the album, like the stuff that's just on YouTube, like how special that shit is. Like do you connect with that at all? Are you like sort of I asked a similar question to Todd and I feel like he was a bit more reluctant to embrace maybe some of the affection for it, but man, like that shit is so cold. Like all of those Team Sleep songs are so special. Are you aware of how special the unreleased joints are, especially like the stuff that was just circulating on the internet before the album came out? And
So
then say I'm sorry, go say that again.
are you talking about the leak? The
Yeah,
leak?
all the leaks. Yeah, the leaks. And then there's, I mean, yeah, the leaks is in particular. Because you guys did that, right? It was like you guys were like, let's just put this shit out.
Uh, the you mean like did we leak it on purpose?
Did you?
No, no, not that I know. I didn't do anything. I didn't leak shit. I don't know what happened there, but man, I can't. Yeah, I need to listen to that again, man, because yeah, I haven't listened to that since for decades. It's that old now. Yeah, I can say that. It's I haven't listened to it since
Okay,
probably
boomer.
back then. Yeah, but
You
yeah,
really don't fuck with you don't check it, you don't
no,
revisit it.
sometimes I come across some of those other ones where you were just kind of fucking around and putting something on MySpace, kind of just like those little demos or whatever we put on
Yeah.
space. And I'd like come across something on YouTube and I go, oh wow, yeah, I remember this. And then I'd read the comments and it's crazy, yeah, how people like really love it, and it's like, man, I trip out and like, wow, that's cool, man. That even these little ditties that we made that didn't go anywhere and don't have any much structure to them, people dig those too. It's like a drum loop and some guitar on it, and so yeah, I do come across that and trip out, and I appreciate all like people digging that stuff.
What do you remember about? What do you remember fondly about the release of the album, the touring? Because you guys toured for a little while prior to the release, and then sort of extensively afterwards. No,
You mean you're talking about
testing your memory now. Yeah,
really? Yeah, it is
you can
because
pour them. Hey, if we need to take a pause, you can pour some more Four Roses. I got a whole bottle of hand I'm working on here, dog. So we can.
damn. Um,
He said,
yeah,
"Damn,
at the time,
don't make me feel bad."
I was working this job, and the tour is coming up pretty quickly.
Yeah,
And I can't remember if the tour started before the album came out or after the album came out. Honestly, I can't remember, man. I need some Prevagen to bring back my memory. I need some.
that's good shit.
But I think that was the big 3 month tour. I think that, or when we did like 80 something shows in like 90 days or something, and we did like east to west coast to east coast and back again or something like that, and then like Australia and the UK and stuff. And it was just like a boom, show after show after show. We were in one town and out, and then on to the next. Um, it was a blur, honestly. It
Yeah,
was a blur for me. Yeah.
word. Yeah,
Just like the one day we had off in Paris. The one day we had like on the, wow, a day off in Paris. I got deathly sick and was bedridden.
oh no.
And I was bedridden up until the time I had to leave to perform. Um, so I didn't like the whole day off. I was bedridden and then the day of the show, I had to get up, force myself to get up and play. Um, yeah, I remember getting sick a lot. I don't know why I got sick. I got sick. I got like some crazy. Where was I?
You never left California. That's why you got on the plane and everything. Fucking which shit.
Yeah, just yeah. We had just a few days off with a lot of shows, and it was just pretty hectic. And then boom, it's done, and I'm back home. But it was fun. I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say on that. I don't know. It was a blur, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really fun to consider your recollection of it versus mine, and like you said, a couple of ditties. You know what I mean? Things that you were playing with, and maybe that just became songs, and then to fans who are like really deeply attached to the music. It's really fun. It's really fun to consider, and it offers a perspective that um I think is important to consider. uh um these stories behind these songs I feel like they're different for all of us, you know what I mean? um
Yeah.
what about another song, that a Deftones song that you had a hand in, Lucky You?
Yep.
Do you have any story behind that song?
uh, I mean, let's see. I don't know. I started making that song. Uh, I'm probably not. I just made that song and Chino liked it and wanted to use it.
Word. I bet that's fucking it too.
That's the story, and I'm sticking to it. Um, yeah, and then Frank added some synth on it, and yeah, I didn't expect that to be used on a Deftones record. I'll tell you that much. And then I was like, oh wow, this is cool. It's gonna be used on the self-titled, and yeah, that's about it.
That's so funny.
Why is there another
So say again.
there another story about that song? Or?
No, I don't know that you would know better than me. No, the only story that I'm interested in is yours. I'm curious also about the Team Sleep. I often call it like my greatest regret, not going to the Team Sleep Woodstock sessions.
Mm.
What do you recall about that experience? And was that any sort of like, because there was some conversation at that time about there's going to be some more Team Sleep stuff coming, and
Yeah.
that may or may not have happened. But did you feel like that was a thing that was really gonna like shit, the Team Sleep thing is gonna keep going again versus like, we're just doing this little get back together?
Um, I don't know. I think that just the first step was just to do something. Um, like I don't even know how how that came about. It came out of nowhere from what I remember, but
Word.
uh, uh just remember saying, yeah, we're gonna do this thing in Woodstock, this when it and it sounded really fun, the concept. Like we're gonna do this thing in front of a live studio audience, like a sitcom, they say recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Word.
So we did that, and we're gonna have the stuff to give, like these giveaways, and we're gonna after that we're gonna just have this barbecue with everyone there, and just hang out. And then so I got all my stuff ready for the live shows. Like okay, and I was kind of rusty. I'm like, wow, how did I get all this? I need to get all my stuff together, and then flew to New York, and started. We had I think a week to practice, and this is with Gil and Chuck added, minus Zach, and so it was Rick, Todd, Gil, Chuck, and myself for the first few days until Chino came to practice the vocals and practice everything together. And man, it was cool. It was like this. We lived in this little cabin, kind of like some Friday the 13th looking cabin, and it was like, man, you just walk outside and it's just like it's cool. It's like nature and stuff, and horses and stuff, and pigs and all the stuff, and we're just like practicing. And Cheeto came the last few days, and then the last couple of days, and then we ironed it out. And the day of that show, man, it was crazy. It was just like people started like coming in, like filing in, and like it was people started like parking in the lot, and I could see all this from my little cabin. I was like looking out there. I'm like, wow, what's happening? Look at all these people coming. And finally, it's all right, showtime. So we go, and it's like nerve-wracking because it's this little studio and people are like 10 feet away from us. Like
Yeah,
the
on
front
top of you.
front rows. Yeah, it's right there. Like, like where you've heard like where bigger shows are less nerve-wracking than smaller shows because you could just see the people are right there looking at you like their
Word.
little room. And but we went at it with the attitude like, hey, we're just gonna mess around. We're gonna record this record live in front of people, and if we mess up, then we start over. We
Yeah.
start the song over. And that's that. I mean, that maybe people would think, oh, that's kind of messed up, but actually, it's kind of cool, because like people would see us, like we do the song twice, basically, like they can see us do it again, and then hopefully we get it right the next time. But
You're right.
yeah, and so yeah, I basically recorded a record in front of people, and it was pretty awesome, man. I was like something that yeah, I'll always hold near and dear to my heart. Just doing that, and then hanging out after. I think we had some people come in and bring some food, some catering or something, or barbecue. I forget what it was, man. My memory is kind of off. I need some, like I said, I need some Prevagen to remember the fine details. But it was just a beautiful setting, and the people were awesome. Just happy. We were happy they were there, and they were happy to be there, and then finally they were actually got the record pressed and came out. I don't know, maybe almost a year later. I forget, but I was like, wow, we did that. That's cool, And I actually like that as much as the studio record. Maybe sometimes when I hear it, I go, maybe I like that a little more. I don't know. It was kind of cool, like when I listened to it.
Yeah. Yeah. What about it makes it more special, if that's the right word?
Um, just the way it was, just the way we did it with in front of people and um, kind of just yeah, just I don't know what it is, but we added those couple little joints too. They were new, um, and I don't know, it just had this cool sound to it. Like wow, this is what we sound like live. That's cool, like I don't know, it's just a different take on the studio record with different players, but it's just like we just I don't know, just we added some new like some little parts to some of the songs to like Foreign Flag and it was just kind of like elevated it a little bit even more, and that's why I was like when I would listen to it back then I was like, man, I kind of like this better than the almost I don't know if I want to say better, but maybe something I don't know. It's like at least as much as the self-titled, I was like, wow, this is pretty good. I like this.
Really cool. It's really cool to watch it on YouTube and to see people in the room. And I feel like you can feel that too on the album when you listen to it. Like you can feel the energy and the difference of the energy, which is a special thing. As a Deftones fan, as a Chino fan, like to be able to go like, yo, here's a live release. That's
Mhm.
not a common thing for this dude in his catalog. There aren't a lot of like official certified live recordings that he put his okay on. You know what I mean? There's Boots, there's definitely all the shit that's on YouTube, but only a couple, I feel like, live recordings that he was like green lit. And there's a whole fucking flat out Team Sleep album
Yeah,
of,
that's true. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he fucking slays it. And you guys fucking killed it. Like you guys did the whole thing, like 2 takes, 3 takes. I don't give a damn how many takes it took. Like the shit hits and it feels. And it is why I have listed among my greatest regrets of life. Like, did not fucking have spent the bread and fucking get myself there because that shit fucking it it got it. It's got it. It does the thing, and it brings me back to that time when I was introduced to those songs and how special they were to me, but also like was fucking like I feel like proof that those songs were fucking are like they have a timeless quality. They are not 2004,
Yeah.
2005. You know what I mean? They exist beyond. There's greatness in those songs, and it's fucking sick. It's really sick. I'm gushing right now. I'm punishing you right now a little bit. I apologize. I don't mean to fucking put the shit on you, but that shit goes so hard. It's so dope. It's
Hey,
really
man,
great.
I was kind of proud when I heard it. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, man. And the just the crowd in there. It was a vibe. It was a whole vibe. Seriously, it was like something I'll never forget. This the folks that were there, they were just very excited, and it was like there was like a tension in the air. Not a tension, but like oh shit, this is gonna like we're out. Even on my end too, like oh we're gonna really do this in front of these people. It was yeah, it was pretty cool. Man, it'd be cool to do it again, but I don't know. Um,
That
but
ticket's gonna go up. That ticket's gonna cost a lot more. I'm gonna have to pony up a lot. I'm gonna have to white pony up a lot more fucking bread for that ticket. I know it.
inflation,
Woodstock, I don't give a damn where y'all do it. I got it this time. Have you talked to Frank about Team Sleep? Have you had conversations about the Team Sleep music, like what you're doing? Like you give him shit. I'm sure you gave him number of the beats to listen to. Yeah.
yeah, I did. Yeah,
What about like do you remember that with like the Team Sleep stuff? Was he like checked in and clued into like what you were doing?
And I didn't personally. I don't remember if I ever gave him stuff like here, listen to this or not. That was a long time ago, but
Yeah.
I don't remember actually doing that. I figured maybe he probably heard it through other means, maybe I don't know, via Chino, but probably not. I don't know. I don't remember. I think just eventually, I remember him hearing it and going, "Oh man, yeah, I heard the Team Sleep stuff is pretty sick," but I don't think I like played him early iterations of anything um, that I remember. No, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It always makes I definitely wondered at the time what the Deftones dudes thought of the Team Sleep stuff and what was going on. That was certainly a part of the conversation, I feel like, at that moment in time with Deftones and like what was what is this new band and why are they fucking great? And like, you know what I mean? Like, is Deftones not going to be a thing anymore? Do you remember any of that?
Uh,
Nah.
I never, not that I know, I remember. I mean, we were just trying to get this project done, you know. I was in my head at the time, just boom, let's make this thing and get put it out there, you know. I never
Right.
thought, I, no, I never thought. I don't know if stuff was said like, "Oh, Deftones are done." That would be ridiculous. I never thought of that in my head, but I was just here in Sacramento trying to just finish this record and put it out there, you know, because
Yeah.
you know I was excited. I was like, man, this stuff's coming out really good, and I was just doing my thing, you know, like everyone else was.
Totally. Yeah, the mind of a fan is a lot different than the person who's actually making the music. No,
Yeah,
no question.
yeah, I was just in the trenches trying to get it done, you know.
Yeah, yeah. What a trip though to like have that release. You all of a sudden you got this major label release. That's badass.
Yeah, yeah, it was kind of surreal when it came out. It's like pretty surreal, you know.
Like shit, I'm on MTV. I'm on Carson Daly.
Yeah, that was a trip too, because um, we were setting up to do the Carson Daly show, and this guy and I was all set up with my drum machine and everything, and this guy with his camera was like getting some. I don't know if he was getting like B-roll footage or whatever, but he was wandering around with his camera taking footage, and he bumped into the back of my drum machine and broke the master out, like the so like he broke it, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Like now I can't play the drum machine; it's broken. Like
You're done. Yeah.
like right before the show was about to start. So but luckily a tech guy came and and fixed it.
No way, really?
I forget the severity of what happened, but it was like, oh shit, man, what am I supposed to do? Like he knocked the quarter inch and it damaged the output. But yeah, anyways, that was just a little stressful 20 minutes of my life at that time. But after that, we were able to record that show.
Super funny. As a person who has been sabotaged by a fucking 3/4 inch cable mic adapter before, yeah, I could relate to that. Not on national TV though. I have never been on national TV with that situation, so that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So I know it's kind of like weird to probably answer this question because it's really not a very well formulated question, but B, it's about your friends, your guys. But namely, I'm interested in Frank and like what you perceive as his like can you talk about his musicality and can you talk about what he brings to Deftones and what he does because you guys do similar things,
Mhm.
but like also that's your guy and you like I know you watch him and you see what he does. Like, can you talk about his musicianship?
Um, yeah, I mean, well, first off, I mean, he's like a walking encyclopedia, just knowing, just with all the knowledge he has with DJ wise, just knowing, just a wealth of knowledge, and as far as like the stuff he does, I mean, I don't really, I'm not around to see what he's doing and stuff, but I know that he does all the synthy stuff, and it's like the soundscape stuff, and it's just like it's amazing. Like when I'm listening to it, oh, okay, that's cool. Like yeah, but I don't really like talk to him. Like he doesn't like say I did this or that, or I don't, I've never, I'm not there when he's doing the stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
so we really talk, have conversations about, what he did or this or that.
But
But
you hear it.
yeah, I hear it, and then and and honestly, yeah, like actually, he played me some stuff he was working on, just messing around in his room, and there are potential, like I guess all of them were like potential, songs that he would show the rest of the guys to see if they want to, use it, turn it into a song or something. It's pretty dope, man. Like all the stuff he's doing. That was, I think, the first time he's really showed me anything on it that he's done on his own. Like this was a few months back, actually. Like for after all these years, I was, because I was showing him my early iterations of Number of the Beats, and I just wanted him to lend an ear and just, give some feedback.
Right.
And then he was showing me some of his stuff, and I was like, wow, it's pretty dope, man. Like, so I'm kind of like curious to see if anything of that gets used. Like, if I hear it on the next record, I'm like, oh shit, that's wow, they use that, that one idea, and but yeah, just like some bass lines and some like some crispy beats and stuff, and I was like, wow, this is sick, man. It's about, I think I want to say around 5 or so ideas that he had that he was going to float to them, and see what happens.
That's
But
really cool.
yeah, but I was like, man, if they don't, not if any one of these doesn't get used, man, shit, let me fuck with it, like something on there,
He said, I got some drums for that shit. I'm gonna put that shit on. That's fucking tight. I feel like I remember in a conversation that I had with Chino, like about, you know, something about the genesis of some of the songs. And he would be like, sometimes it's as simple as like a sound that Frank brings to the table or something. And I feel like just saying that spoke a truth. Like a sound that Frank brings to the table is probably a pretty fucking special thing, because I feel like this dude has a massive ear for sound. Like you said, this encyclopedic knowledge.
yeah.
And then like this also, I feel like a savvy, like when you guys were doing the Twitch stuff
Uh-huh.
in the pandemic, like it was just clear like there is a different level of like thought and preparation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that I'm sure that's not lost on you as well.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. I mean, it's next level type shit,
Yeah.
But yeah, even like the Twitch stuff, I'm like, damn, okay, we're doing heavy duty, and I gotta like, you gotta be on your A game and shit, because we're going back and forth playing off of each other.
Yeah. Yeah, that was super fun. I hope you guys decide to bring that back at some point. Maybe like a little New Year's Eve special. I don't know what you got popping on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, yeah,
Like that.
yeah, like
Day
maybe
after New Year's,
a one
January
off.
2nd special.
Yeah, we did talk about that, honestly, but we never really haven't really. Well, obviously we haven't done it, but we have talked about it. So maybe soon.
What about I know this is probably a fan's wishful thinking question, but what about a team sleep thing? Is that where are you sitting on a Team Sleep thing?
I honestly, so actually, there's like going back to those little ditties on YouTube and stuff. We
Yeah.
actually have I put together a string of about six of those. I don't know if they're some maybe on YouTube, but there's a couple that aren't no one's heard yet. And I kind of made this little like sequence, and it's all just I think it's just the stripped down Team Sleep version that was the early iteration of it was just these dusty beats with um, Todd's guitars on it, and I have about 5 or 6 of those that I some newer kind of, and then some from back in the day, and I strung them together in this little sequence, and there's so it's basically some dusty, dirty drum beats from my drum machine, his guitars, and a little bit of synth here and there, and some little samples here and there, vocal samples or whatever, in and out of the songs. And so it's kind of they're basically instrumentals, and I sent it to Todd and Chino, and they really liked it. So we might. I want to put it out at some point. Um, Somehow, maybe just in this very simple form, maybe just a Team Sleep Bandcamp or something, and just put it out there because it's pretty cool. Like I just I'll listen to it and I go, man, it's pretty. This is a vibe right here, man. This is the early Team Sleep vibe, like 2001 Team Sleep vibe, or just some simple beats with some guitar on it. And so I think we might do that at the very least. If we don't do like a full on another studio record, uh, we might do that one. So that might come in the future.
And if you need a rapper, I'm available. I'm not
right.
saying you could toss my bars to the side if you feel like they're trash, but man,
Yeah, it's pretty dope, man. It's like it just gives it's a vibe, man. I listen to it. I'm like, yeah, this is the Team Sleep, the early Team Sleep style right here. So hopefully
well,
next in the early next year, maybe the next 6 months of 2024, we can put it out there.
I would love to see it. It feels like it would be very special. It would be very special. Like anything Team Sleep for me is like I'm at it. I'm at full attention. That's what's up. I hope to see it. And if you guys decide to do whatever you guys decide to do, fucking you've got full support right over here entirely.
Appreciate that.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you my rap question, which is a request for recommendations, which I feel like is a pretty fun request to ask of you. This is inspired by something that Chino said on a podcast, that the reason that he used to only just tweet out links to songs that he liked. He would tweet out links to songs he liked on YouTube because that was what he felt like would be his best contribution to social media. So in that spirit, can you put me on to 3 things? And it doesn't necessarily have to be music. It can be all music. It can be anything that you think people should maybe spend a little time with. I've had everything from floss your teeth to meditate to artists, movies, whatever you think people might benefit from focusing on. What would you recommend?
Oh my gosh. Why is this a tough question for me?
It is a tough question. You feel like you have to put the whole world into it, but you really don't. You really don't. It could be clothes. It can be gear.
Gear. Yeah, gear. Man, so let's see. Oh, I don't have I'm not doing the video thing, huh? I just got this little drum machine. I got one for my son because he says he's wanting to make beats and stuff. But I
Okay.
got one. Oh, don't tell him. It's a Christmas present. Shit.
I won't tell him.
Uh, I got two of them. One for me to kind of learn, and then one for him. And then if he has any questions, he can obviously go to YouTube for questions. But then if he asks me, I can at least try to help him too. Like,
Yeah.
and it's this brand called Teenage Engineering, and I got the it's called a Pocket Operator 33 KO, and it's like the size of a little calculator, like
No way.
it's sample in it. You can make legit boom bap hip hop songs on it. It's not just a toy. It looks like a little toy, but I figured that would be a good starting point for my son, like to have like a tangible little sampler drum machine. And
With a drum machine in your pocket.
yeah, yeah, and you should get a case for it because it is very fragile. Like it could break. So I got a case for him. I bought everything double, like one for him and one for me. Case for him, a case for me.
That's tight.
That's one thing that's cool. Like, and you can sample in it, and you can sequence and do all the drums, and
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's one thing gear wise. That's because I haven't bought much gear. Well, lately I did. I have. That's one of them. And then I bought a couple pedals from this brand called I think it's called Hologram, and I used a lot of it on the Number of the Beats. It's all over Number of the Beats. I used the Hologram Infinite Jets pedal. I plugged it into my I connected my micro cord to it, and it's all over like Electronic Patriots, it's, Pride and Joy. What else? What else is? There's probably some other songs I can't remember. That it's, but yeah, look up Hologram. Uh, they got some sweet like effects pedals, and that's that. And then let's see what else. Uh, walk. You should walk. If you don't get any exercise, try walking because that's that. I started walking like 6 months ago because I was like I weighed myself for the first time in a long time because I don't have a scale at my house, and I freaked out at how much I weighed, and I started walking, and you do lose weight from walking. You just got to put
Shit
it.
came off. You just had to, you got to do it. You got to commit to it.
I would so like I feel like jogging is cool, but like you get tired faster, and then your knee it's more work on your knees and
Yeah, the
but
impact is not good. I've got osteoporosis or whatever. Both of my knees. Yeah, my knees are shit. So yeah,
yeah, so
running. Yeah, fuck that. Walking. Yeah, fuck yeah. I go for a
walking
walk.
walking at a brisk pace. That's what I do, and then to like, and I've been losing weight. I have been, and I'm getting older, so I don't, my rib cage expands. When you get older, your rib cage expands. And
Oh, I know.
your head gets bigger, you get shorter. I'm looking more and more like Danny DeVito every day. So
Hey,
I've
but
been
he's doing all right.
he is doing it. I'm hoping when by the time I'm his age, I'm hoping I'm like as good as he is, now. So walking helps. So that's my third thing is walk.
I fuck with that. That's what's up.
Yeah.
Man, King Crook, bro, this has been an honor and a pleasure. I can't thank you enough. I'll reach out to you in advance of the release of the podcast. When that's going to be entirely, I'm not sure. I'm sure there's a lot that we could have talked about, would have talked about, but I really appreciate just having this moment in time with you to kick it and get to know you a little bit more. I feel like listeners will appreciate that as well. I will bother you for a promo photo, a picture that we can use on social media.
Oh, for sure.
I'll probably reach out to you sooner rather than later to tie that up, but I don't necessarily need it soon because I don't know again when this is going to come out.
Yeah, easily got to send you. And also, man, I forgot to mention
Yeah.
that I'm opening for Crosses on December 4th.
Yeah, bro. Tell me about that.
So I was just going about my day, my work day, work from home, and I get a message from Sean Lopez, and I just open it. We talk about stuff, and I just thought it was just another message, like, oh, what's he gonna say? What is this? And but it's him asking if I wanted to open for Crosses in San Francisco, and I'm oh shit, oh yeah. I go yeah. I immediately text him back, yeah, that sounds like fun. Let's do it. And now that it's coming, I'm hecka nervous because I still don't go out. What I'm gonna do is a DJ set, basically. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
like a DJ set, and but I'm gonna try to incorporate visuals, kind of like heavy duty style, like Twitch style stuff.
Right.
But I still don't know what I'm like. I have a couple songs. Okay, I'm gonna play these songs, but man, I still don't have like, and I'm still nervous. I don't know what to do. Like I gotta figure it out, and so that's where I'm at now. So like from now until the third, I'm going balls to the wall, figuring out a set that a solid set that I can practice, and then I'm added the extra burden of, okay, let's do visuals for it. So that's another thing I have to figure out. But I have maybe just over a week until it's time.
Yeah,
So
not a lot of time.
I got to figure that out. So I'll probably be, after we get off of this thing, I'm probably gonna try to get my shit together, start getting a set together and doing all that. So
So what, like, if I may, how do you do that?
how do I get a set together?
Yeah.
So like I figure like there's just songs that I want to like I know there's some songs I want to play, and I go from there. I start with like the first song that I want to play. Like I know what I'm gonna that I want to play it, and I go build other songs around that song, and then
What is it? Do you know? Like, can you tell me? I mean, this isn't going to come out before then. So
that's all right. Yeah, there's no secret to like, yeah, it's so one is it's gonna be um this little edit I did a long time ago. Actually, it's kind of interesting. I took an ISIS song and I put
right.
a acapella over it. Dead Prez acapella. Remember that song Dead Prez, a hip hop by Dead
Of
Prez?
course. Yeah.
I put an acapella over the ISIS song. I forget the name of the ISIS song.
Tight.
But and this was years ago, and it actually someone liked it. Someone heard it on MySpace and they liked it, and they showed Aaron Harris, the drummer, back in the day, and then he liked it, and he was like tripping out on it, and so that meeting Aaron, that's how I met him. Like that's how we know each other, because of that little edit.
Oh,
So
word. That's how you guys know each other, is because of that. Wow, really?
yeah, so I want to throw that in the mix at the show, and then some other stuff. But then another one of the songs, I'm gonna do some electro funk too as well. So I'm gonna try to mix it up a little bit. And I think one of them is radioactivity, because they say San Francisco in the song. So I want to play that and then loop that part where they say San Francisco, kind of, and then just kind of mix out of it. Just little ideas that hit me, inspire me, and so I'm gonna take all the little merch I have for Number the Beats, and have a little merch booth there, and so that came out just in time, and this
Oh, yeah.
process thing was like, oh, awesome, like I can get some more exposure for my new project, hopefully, and open for my homies, and I, as nervous as I am, I think it'll be a fun night. I just gotta get my shit together.
Hell yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure, it's going to be super fun because everybody that is in that room wants to be in that room. It's pretty tight.
Sure.
What about the visual aspect of it? What do you do? How do you figure that out?
So like I took my so my plan is like to have my I took Frank Maddox had my name in his font on the Number of the Beats. He had this font thing, and I lifted it, and I'm using that as my little. It's gonna say Crook One in the middle, kind of all jittery and glitchy, and then the background's gonna be just different, depending on the song. It's gonna be different visuals, and then with my DJ program, when I mix two songs into each other, they're gonna like kind of do a cross dissolve from one song to the other.
Ooh.
It'd be kind of like the Twitch. Imagine the Twitch visuals, but it's going to be more tailored to each song. Each song's gonna have its own personal video to it, and so that's what I picture anyway. I gotta like
You got some work to do, yeah.
Straight out. So
That's hard, man. I wish I was going to be there to see it. I was. Are you in any conversation with them about being on any part of the U.S. tour?
no, not really, but I don't know. Who knows? I mean,
Tell them come on out to fucking Dallas. Say I want to go party with Wood in Dallas, man.
maybe
I'm
if
not
this,
in Dallas today, but I'll be in Dallas that day.
yeah, maybe if this set works out, maybe something happens. But we'll see. It's hard. It's hard because I still do have like a fucking full
A
on.
life and a yeah,
What I mean, so
yeah.
who knows? If maybe something works out. Who knows? But I'm just concentrating on this one for now, and just see how it goes. It's like maybe you get some footage. People recording it. Maybe we'll get some fan footage.
Oh, for sure, 100%,
Sure. Yeah. And
guarantee it.
so here's another thing too. This is the plan. So this is going to come out after this crosses thing, right? So
Yeah.
the plan is we'll see if it works out. A video is being made for Red Ants, and it's supposed to be finished the day before the crosses show. So I'm planning on um, premiering it at the crosses show. Like no one's they're going to be the Red Ants video, and so and then after that we'll of course post it on the internet and stuff. But we'll see if that happens. It's going to be come down to the wire. So
Word.
it's ready on the day before. Then yeah, I'm going to try and premiere it at the crosses show.
And that's because Sean's on that song too, right?
Yeah. So when I was making that song, I wanted I wanted guitar or something. I pictured guitar on it, and I asked a few different people, and how it goes. You ask someone, sometimes they either maybe they don't respond or they're like, yeah, I'll do it, and then just never materializes. And but Sean was like, yeah, I'll do it, and then he really did it. But like, that was at the 11th hour too. We were like,
Word.
studio, and it was gonna be the last day of the studio, and I texted Sean like, hey man, like this is it, like can you like can you do it or what? Because this is the last day that like finishing up this song. And he's, oh yeah, shit. I go, yeah. So I'll be done by 3 p.m. He's, all right. And this was like around 12. So
Oh
he's like,
wow.
yeah, I'm gonna go get something to eat and then I'll come back and I'll do it. I'm like, all right, shit. Okay.
You're like, oh
So,
damn. Hope it's not a 12-inch sub. Hope it's a 6-inch.
so he ate, he went to go eat, and then I guess apparently I get the text, like maybe 2 o'clock or something. He's all right, man, I got something to send you. And he sent me this stuff, and it was just like, you know, um, he sent me the files, and he made it to where I just could fly it in and it lands right where it's supposed to land.
Oh, sick.
Sent me 2 files, like 2 different tracks, and then we put it in there and worked it in there, like boom, right at the last minute. And then I'm like, man, thank you, man. Like, I pitched, I was like, yes, this is what this needed and this part of the song. And it worked out great.
Yeah, it hits. It's really cool. It's really dope. That's
So,
super tight. That's
yeah,
super funny. Last ass minute. I love that. That's
the 11th hour, man, it was like craziness.
that's
Yeah.
so cool. Man.
Yeah. So, yeah, maybe he'll come out and play it.
Hell yeah. Is he in the video? Did he do anything for the video?
No, he's not in the video. I got this guy Carlos here in Sac, a good friend. And man, he's doing amazing stuff right now, and I'm like excited for him to like finish. I'm excited to for him to finish it. It's like
Word.
so people can see what he's capable of and what he's doing, and man, it's just, and I'm excited to have a video for a song. Like I didn't even think I would, like, it just came to me like, hey, let's do this. Let's make a video. Like, it'd be cool to make a video for one of these songs, and I figured Red Ants would be probably the best one to do it, and I just kind of excited to have that too. It's like surreal, kind of, like
Yeah.
not doing anything ever solo in my life to now doing it, and then having a cool video that's going to come out, and I don't know, it's kind of cool, like how it's working out. I feel like it's getting pretty decent feedback as far as people like it and stuff. So
hell yeah. No, it feels great. It's definitely a vibe, and it's really great that you're getting to put like your whole self into it. You get to make it a complete project, do a video, have visuals, go do a show, like really getting to get it out there as dope. You deserve it, man. And I definitely feel like there are people who like Deftones fans, Team Sleep fans for sure. I know, as in the conversations of these podcasts, that like we are here for it. It's pretty fucking cool. It's pretty cool.
thanks, man. Yeah, and I feel like Volume 2 is when I listen to it, and then and like compared to Volume 1, it's going to be a little different. Kind of, it's still going to be, it's still instrumental beats and stuff. And actually, like, the plan was to do all instrumental stuff, but now that I did the first one instrumental, like maybe I'll have someone sing on something on the second one or something. If I feel like it, if I feel like it could use some vocals, maybe I'll reach out to someone, but who knows? But right now it's like a little different vibe, but it's still there. It's gonna sound all I want to be able to just have all 3 volumes done, and people can just listen. It'll be cohesive, kind of, even though each one's going to be a little different.
Word, yeah. I like that. I appreciate the effort to make something that has some continuity.
Yeah, and then the cassettes are going to have something on the B side that aren't available digitally.
So you can tight.
So, do you have a cassette player? Were you listen to the?
I don't have a cassette player. No.
Yes, side B is it's something that's not available digitally. So that's kind of an incentive too. Like, oh, you got to get the cassette. You can listen to it. And I still don't know what I'm going to do on the other side Bs of 2 and 3, but it's going to be. I'm just going to figure it out whatever I do. But
I think it's great creating. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's just like trying to have fun with it.
Crook One. Thank you, King. Congratulations on the number of the beats. Volume 2 is out now. Look for Crook One on Bandcamp and support the OG. My name is Woody. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at Woodbruh, WOODBRUH. If you want to talk about my favorite band, hit me up. Thank you for listening to Deftones, and thank you for listening to Change in the House of Pods.